Hello, my name is John Capobianco, in the name of Ollama and some other tertiary tools. Now, I've been doing artificial intelligence development for a while now using primarily ChatGPT and ChatGPT for things like embeddings for my retrieval augmented generation, RAG. We need a model to do embeddings. There's also the LLM itself, ChatGPT 4 Turbo. Now, that is one, not private. It is public. It is in the cloud. Two, it's not necessarily secure and it's not confidential and it costs money. So I've been making solutions and it's hard for some people to adopt them, understandably, because they don't have the money for ChatGPT tokens. So I've shifted gears and I've found some open source tools to democratize some of my work. There's also cases where people do have money for tokens, but they don't want to use the cloud service because their packets, for example, I have a tool called Packet Raptor and Packet Buddy that let you chat with packets from the network. But what if that's a secure network where it has confidential or sensitive information and they don't want to use cloud services to analyze their PCAPs? So I'm going to refactor my code. My packet Raptor, and Raptor is the tree-oriented retrieval, is ready to go using Ollama. I'm going to refactor some of my other tools and constantly let you know as they come out. But let's take a look at some of these tools together. So on Ollama, Ollama.com. So on Ollama, Ollama.com, right? Get up and running with large language models locally. Llama 2 and other models, and you can download it for Mac OS, Linux, or Windows. There's different instructions, and it's pretty straightforward to get going. Now, this is for the command line server of Ollama. Now, Ollama it's headless. It doesn't have necessarily a GUI. It's an API-driven system. However, this is the open source repo for Ollama. Everything is open source. There's the model library, so all of the models that we have available for us to run. And there is an open web UI that gives us a GUI interface overlaying the Ollama server, effectively giving us a ChatGPT-like interface. Now, on my GitHub, I've put together a simple Docker Compose. Now, inside of my Docker Compose, I do have a GPU specified because I have an RTX 2060, so I'm using my GPU. If you do not have a GPU, you can remove lines 11 through 17 or comment them out, and it will use your CPU. The idea here is to clone the repo, Docker Compose up with your Docker desktop, and then visit localhost 3002. This will bring you into this UI, the Ollama web UI. So I'm going to sign in with the account that I've made, again, locally. And now that I'm logged in. Now, to get started, you're going to click the little gear and go to Models and start downloading models. So let's look for Phi2, which I don't have. So Phi is the name of this model. So I'm going to search here and download model Phi. I'm going to pull the manifest and download the Phi2 model. Now, Phi2 is the first small language model, SLM, and it performs very well given its size. You can see how many downloads these all have, and they actually take you to the repository's information. So you can see 1.6 gig model file and then some parameters files. Versus if I go back here and look for Mixtral, Mixtral is 26 gigs. So when I run Mixtral in my GPU, it takes a really long time because I don't quite have the performance or horsepower. So I'm going to run smaller models like Llama 2 or Phi 2. So we're just going to let this finish pulling this down. And then I'm going to show you what we can do here. There's also a bunch of other integrations I'm not going to be exploring. This is a very beginner's quick guide to Ollama 2, but please do explore. So it's going to validate the SHA information now, the hash, to validate the model and install it into my Ollama server. So it's verifying the digest, successfully installed. And I believe now the Phi2 model has been installed. So I can pick a model, let's say Phi2, and let's add the Llama 2 model and say, tell me a fun fact. So this should give me the Llama 2's answer. And if we look in my GPU here, we can actually see that the Llama 2 model, 3.56 gig, is loaded in my GPU. This is all my GPU's information here. And it's processing the question. So now, right, we're moving through the layers and offloading to the GPU. And we should start getting back some answers. And you can see how fast the answer came back. So now, no text generation, please try again. Let me try the Phi2 again. Oh, I haven't tried it with two models at the same time. So there's Phi2, and there's Llama 2. Now, ChatGPT, like experience, more or less for free and open source with very high quality models. One thing else I want to show you. Inside of my code, so I'm going to open up my container for my Packet RAPTOR software. And I'll have a separate video about this, about the RAPTOR technology after this video. I'll be making a new video. So we upload a packet capture. And here, I've integrated my UI with Ollama as a server. So we have the web UI, yes, but as a developer, as a programmer, as someone who wants to build solutions like Packet RAPTOR, well, now I can pick from free open source models. The other thing I want to highlight in my code, let's look at the code and see how this is done. I'm running this function, get the models, and this function does a quick request.get against my Ollama's URL /API tags, and then I just loop over the model.name and get those names. Now, further in my code, if I search for self.llm, you can see here, this is what I used to use. An embeddings model from ChatGPT and ChatGPT for my LLM, GPT-4 Turbo. Well, I've shifted to fast embeddings, free and open source from GitHub, and Ollama and the selected model the users picked. And I pointed at the Ollama container I run locally. How I invoke this in my Lang chain expression language, it's self_llm.invoke. And in my conversational retrieval chain, it's just self.llm. So I've repurposed my ChatGPT code to be completely open source. So if I proceed to chat, I'm doing my Packet RAPTOR now, which is a tree organized structure of artificial intelligence analysis, automated. And it is a little bit slower, but not that much noticeable. So there's the embeddings. There's my list of floating point numbers, my vectors that were created from the fast embeddings model. So now here is my summary. And it's just summarizing this tree. Now, again, this is using that Phi2 model. The other models may be better, but we can see the source and destination IPs, the MAC addresses. It's doing the automated AI analysis of those packets for free, locally, and securely. So thank you again. Ollama, fast embeddings, completely free, completely secure, completely private, completely open source. I have put open source tools out there that you can start using these with, and I appreciate your feedback. Thank you again to the Ollama team for making these tools available and really democratizing artificial intelligence.